today I'm flying solo with my autistic daughter, and I know how overwhelming that can feel. So I'm taking you with us to show you what the day is really like, how the airport assistance works, and what made the biggest difference for Emma. I'm Krista, this is Emma, and this is our real-life SEN travel experience. We've traveled by plane many times before with Emma, so we already have experience with booking the special assistance and pretty much know what to expect at the airport. We've decided to fly this time of the year to spend the Christmas break with my sister in Budapest. She's just had a new baby and we wanted to spend the holiday with them. Even though we struggle with the queues as well, that's not the main reason for us to book the special assistance. We've booked the airport assistance because Emma's autistic and she has a very limited speech and understanding. She struggles to follow instructions. Also, she's a runner and she's very tactile. She's very sensory seeking, so she likes to run around, touching people, lean onto people, rolling around the floor, running off. So it can be really dangerous, especially on a busy airport. It's worth to note that there are different levels of assistance. The sunflower lanyard on its own is not enough. Let's jump into that. So with the assisted travel services, we went from the Birmingham airport. There are different codes that you can book, and this code is going to be on your boarding pass as well. If you have hidden disabilities, you don't struggle with moving around, you just need some help with the queuing, then you would normally get DPNA code, which means disabled passenger needing assistance. For example, hidden disabilities, learning disabilities, dementia, Alzheimer's, Down syndrome. With this DPNA code, you would still need to register at the special assistance desk. You would get a sunflower lanyard from them with date code on it, so they know that it's for the actual day, and that sunflower lanyard would allow you to go to the fast track for the security, the passport control. But this one does not include the wheelchair assistance part. So instead of the DPNA code, I booked the WCHR, which is for the wheelchair. This one is for passengers who can walk up and down steps, but they need the wheelchair assistance to move around in the airport. So the assistance would take us all the way to the airport steps, and then we would walk up to the aircraft from there. But there are different codes as well. So the WCHS is for passengers who cannot walk up and down the steps at all, but they can move around within the aircraft. And there's also another category, this WCHC, and this one says this is for passengers who are completely immobile. They need the help of a wheelchair to move around even within the aircraft, and they need the assistance to embark and disembark as well. And there's a range of other codes, such as the one for visually impaired passengers, or the passengers who might be deaf or have hearing difficulties. And there's one code for the service animals. If you have a rough idea of what sort of assistance you will need, then when you select that, make sure the code aligns with this. So ideally, you need to request this assistance at least 72 hours before the date of your flight. Otherwise, they might not be able to provide the service. And if you need that, then make sure you have the wheelchair WCHR code on your boarding pass. And for us, it was an enormous help to have another person there and just keep Emma in a safe place. I was really worried about how would I be able to keep her safe without the wheelchair assistance, and I was a little bit worried about it because last time we had the DPNA code, I asked about the wheelchair service and they said they can't provide it because we haven't booked that in advance. I think I was most worried about them turning us away from the special assistance with just a lanyard. I was worried about them questioning whether Emma would really need it or not, but nothing like that happened. We did have a big suitcase and a sports bag as well. I tried to pack everything in the posted baggage and travel as light as possible, but I had to keep my computer in my backpack, so it was pretty heavy. But for Emma, I literally just packed the bare necessities. So she had her ear defenders with us. We can fold really small, and her chewy. This is really useful because otherwise she would put everything in there in her mouth and chew on it. And we always take a notebook and some markers with us because she loves to do coloring and drawing, and it's a good way to keep her busy. Apart from that, we've had a bottle of water for her because she's very, very specific and she only drinks from that one bottle of water. And we've had some snacks for her because, again, her diet is extremely limited and I wasn't sure if I could find anything plain in there. We usually carry these biscuits and these plain waffles with us. The Birmingham airport has a massive sign on the outside of the building showing you which part is the assisted travel. So there's like a big sign for arrival, a big sign for departures, and there's a massive sign saying assisted travel. As we came inside the car park, there's a drop-off option at the very front, and if you have a blue badge, then you can stay up to 30 minutes. You just need to go to the NEC desk and get a ticket from there. We've parked really, really close to the entrance where the special assistance is. And as we came inside, we went straight to the assistance area. We checked in, they asked for our boarding pass, and they advised us that someone would come and get us exactly 2 hours before the scheduled flight departure. If you use the wheelchair special assistance, not just the lanyard for skipping the queues, there isn't much point in arriving early to the airport because the assistance won't actually start until 2 hours before your flight, even though the airline opened the check-in an hour early due to how busy it was. The assistance still only started 2 hours before the scheduled departure, so I wouldn't recommend going there 3 hours early if you have the wheelchair assistance. Once the lady with the wheelchair showed up, they were calling all sorts of names, but I couldn't recognize Emma's name because for the children, there's like a CHD, which I guess stands for child, code between their first and last name. And instead of Emma, they tried to pronounce the Emma CHD. So it sounded completely different. So in the end, they were just showing the name on her phone like this. And that's when I saw what's going on. After that little hiccup, we managed to put Emma in the wheelchair. And the really, really good thing is that there's a seat belt on it. I was so scared that she would just randomly jump off that wheelchair and just make a run for it. But the seat belt kept her in place. The lady offered for me to push Emma, and then she would bring the bags, which I think she might have regretted because those were really, really heavy bags. But she was lovely and she helped us out with them. So our first stop was for the baggage drop-off, and she did take us in front of the queue. There were only one family in front of us, and I think they had some issue with their boarding pass. And we've been in that queue, in front of that queue, for almost 20 minutes until they tried to sort out that person's boarding pass. So Emma was getting really restless at that point, and it was a little bit odd because they're just arguing and going back and forth. Once it was our turn, I was advised that
you'll have to drop this bag to oversized baggage because of the straps. They get caught in the belt. Okay.
She did print the tag for the bag, but I had to take it to the oversized baggage area because the strap could get caught in the belt that's carrying all the bags around. So once we dropped off the big bag, we had to go to the oversized baggage area to drop off the gym bag. Once that was all sorted, it was time to get the lift and go upstairs to the security area. Once we went to the passport control area, that's just before the security, there were massive queues. There was a little bit of queue as well for the special assistance, but in the regular ones, there were absolutely massive queues. Once we went through that part, they just checked our boarding passes and passports real quick, and then we managed to skip all that queue and we went to the very front of the security. We're not allowed to film in the security, so I don't have any footage from inside there. But even though we were taken to the front of the security, we didn't even have to take the boots off or anything. We just put our stuff on these little trays and went straight through the security. I was so happy. I thought that was it, but no. So one of our trays got selected for the extra screening. I think it was about 25 minutes we were standing there. So Emma was sitting in her wheelchair, but I was standing there. There was a long queue of bags that needed extra security. That queue can't be skipped. So we had to wait 25 minutes for them to get to our bag that needed extra screening. So after all this wait, they got to our tray, and the only thing they wanted to check was Emma's little bottle of water. So after all the extra waiting time with the baggage drop-off and all the extra waiting with the security and everything, once we got inside the departures area, I think we've had around 10 minutes before the gate opened. And I don't even know how that happened. The time just flew so quickly. We've had a few minutes there. They had these lovely singing reindeers displayed there, which was really nice. So once these 10 minutes passed, the personal assistants came back and told us that the flight is a bit delayed. So we have a little bit more time. She's taken us to the sunflower room, which is just by the gate 47. So there's a play area called Sky Zone by gate 3, but that was way too far for us. But luckily the sunflower room was just by our gate. So we've managed to spend maybe 15-20 minutes in this sunflower room. It's a nice and small room, and it's got 2 sofas in it and some storage area. And we sat down here, we've had some food. Emma had a chance to self-regulate. She was walking around, climbing on the furniture, and just get some movement break in, because at this point she's been sitting for a long time in that wheelchair, and she was about to sit a whole lot more on the aircraft. Once the special assistants came back for us, she took us in front of the queue by the gate. We went through there, so we didn't need to book any priority or anything, and we didn't have to queue to go in the gate area. Once we were ready to move forward, the guide took us to the elevator, took us downstairs. At this point, I saw that there was a heavy rain outside and the people were already pushing and shoving to go out quicker. So we've decided to stay back and just literally let everyone pass. Usually there are 2 sets of stairs, one at the front and one at the back of the aircraft, but there was only one this time. Once everyone managed to get out and we saw that the queue was moving forward, then we waited until the last minute to go out, and the assistant pushed Emma all the way to the bottom of those stairs. And from there we said our goodbyes, just got our backpacks and walked up to the aircraft. Also, once we were inside the aircraft, everyone was messing around with their bags and just standing in the middle and everything. And it was really difficult to get to the back of the aircraft. But we couldn't wait any longer because we were the last one in the queue. Also, it was really difficult because as Emma was moving forward, she was keep touching everyone. And once we found our seats, initially I put Emma by the windows. I thought that would be the best place to keep her safe. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because at this point she was completely dysregulated and she was opening and closing not just her own window blinds, but the person in front of us and the person behind us as well. She was playing with the trays and everything, and she started touching the people in front of us, the people behind us. The gentleman in front of us was trying to rest his head on his window. He looked really exhausted, and Emma was keep pushing the blinds up, and I was really worried about her hurting the person in front of us. So eventually I had to move her into the middle seat. And at that point, we didn't have anyone sit next to us, so I thought that was a good idea. I only had to worry about her sticking her hand behind. which was a little bit easier to manage than all the fuss with the windows. Unfortunately, just before we started takeoff, there was a person who decided to change their seat and sit next to us with a baby. That was even more stressful. Now I had to worry about Emma touching the baby potentially. I was hoping that once we sat down, it's gonna be a chance for us to relax a little bit, but I think it was kind of like when someone shakes the Coke bottle. So by the time we got to those seats, she just exploded. The first 20 minutes was incredibly stressful at the aircraft. I tried to give her everything I could to keep her a bit distracted, but yeah, it was a lot. I want to share some tips and advice that I would tell another parent who's about to do this for the first time with an SEN child. First of all, it is really important to book the airport assistance in advance. If your child struggles with the waiting, the crowds, the queuing, the airport assistance can make a huge difference for you and your family. It's important to note that they are getting stricter with the airport assistance, so you do need to book it early. Once you go to the passport control and the fast lane for the security, they will check the boarding pass. And even if you don't need the wheelchair assistance, you do need the lanyards from the airport because they put a tag on it with the date of your travel. And if it's not booked in advance and you just have your lanyard from home, then it's up to their discretion if they let you through. I would not recommend to turn up from home with your own sunflower lanyard without saying anything to anyone and trying to go through the fast track like that, because they might turn you away. And I would also say just consider the level of support that you need. If you're traveling solo, I would highly recommend booking the one with the wheelchair. No one's gonna judge you for it, at least they shouldn't be. And no one's gonna scrutinize you, ask you question why your child needs the wheelchair support. They should be able to provide the assistance as long as it's booked in advance. The best part of the special assistance for us wasn't skipping the queues. It was having that safe space for Emma, having that wheelchair with the seat belt. I knew that Emma was safe. And I would also say just bring more comfort items than you think you would need. I was really struggling with Emma once we got inside the aircraft, because as I mentioned before, that was the point that she's got really dysregulated. If you're watching this and you're anxious about flying with your SEN child, you're not overthinking it. It is a really big thing. Even for us frequent flyers and regular travelers, it is a big thing and we're still struggling with it. And if you decide not to travel yet, that's okay too. You'll know when the time is right for you and your family. When we landed in Budapest airport, they told us to wait at the back of the plane because they would send the ambulift, which was a little bit confusing because we didn't actually need ambulift. We would have been able to disembark using the stairs. I think in Budapest they might be using paramedics, if I've seen correctly, for the special assistance. So there was a massive queue at the passport control. The lovely paramedic lady took us to the front of that queue, and I thought they would come with us and help us through the other half, collecting the bags, sorting a taxi, etc. But no. So they told us they're going to take us to the front of the queue for the passport control, and that's how far they can take us. I was a bit surprised, and I did question this, and I did say that we would like to have some help with the bags. We would prefer if someone could come with us all the way to the taxi rank. The lady told me, "This is how far I can take you. We have other drops to go to," which was really odd. I think they only had like the 2-person collecting the people and then just leaving them at the front of the passport control. I kept Emma in the wheelchair, but that wheelchair didn't have a seat belt. So I was a bit worried about that at that point. So we went to the baggage claim area and the bags came fairly quickly, and I've got this trolley for the bags. I've planned to sit Emma on the trolley, but she wasn't having it. She wanted to move around, so I was pushing the trolley, and then she was like just walking around, but I managed to keep her following me, but it was very hard. And for me, pushing the trolley with all the backpacks and the 2 big bags and everything, and having to worry about Emma touching people and wandering around was really difficult. We could have done with a bit more help. And I had no clue where's the taxi rank and everything. We've been to Budapest many times before, but usually we've had family members collecting us because we have family living over there. But this time we had to catch a taxi. It's a different country, different rules, different everything. So we're still very grateful for being able to skip the queue for the passport control. And also one thing to note that Hungary is very, very family friendly. They probably would have pointed us towards a shorter queue or the front of the queue anyway, because they are really good at looking after families with little children. Once we were in Budapest, we spent 2 weeks visiting my sister, who just had a baby a few months ago. And I was planning to make a video about visiting Budapest as well. But unfortunately, I was incredibly poorly for most of those 2 weeks, and I had to have my wisdom tooth surgically removed. And even now, a week after coming back from there, I'm still in a lot of pain. So we're going to make a video about visiting Budapest at another time. But I do have a few short videos about those very few days when I was feeling okay enough to leave the house. We did visit a teeny tiny Christmas market, and we did some ice skating, and we went to the shops so Emma could pick some toys and books for herself, because her speech is still emerging and she haven't been able to communicate what she would like for Christmas. So I did buy some Peppa Pig and number block set for her. What we normally do is we try to buy 1 or 2 things that we think she would like, and then usually for these occasions we take her to the shops so she can pick something that she actually likes, because she can't communicate that verbally. So we went to the shop, she picked out a lot of coloring bits, she loves coloring, and we picked out some books as well, some picture books with these single words on it, so hopefully she can pick up a few words in Hungarian as well. And that was pretty much it. If this video helped you feel a little more confident about flying with your autistic child, you're not alone and you're doing amazing. If you'd like to see more real-life SEM family experiences, then consider subscribing to our channel.